Commanders hire Dan Quinn to match with their new general manager, Adam Peters, to lead this franchise into the future.
The way that we live is not for everybody, okay? It's not, all right? Because we're going to run and put our bodies on people in a violent manner.
Whether the team is giving us the highest of highs or the bluest of blues, we'll cover it all here. Commanders Nightly News. I, of course, am your host, Louie T. Thank you for joining me. Let's get to tonight's lead story. So, I don't know if you guys have had an opportunity to watch the game over again, to rewatch the Sunday night thriller versus the Atlanta Falcons. I have watched it several times now, and you know, I've been told by various people that halftime adjustments are overrated. A lot of times they don't happen. There aren't these grandiose speeches that take place at halftime that flip the switch when a team comes out and plays significantly better in the second half of the game than they did the first half. Guys just play better. Things happen in the course of a game, et cetera, et cetera. Maybe you execute better. Maybe a penalty happens here, a penalty happens there, whatever the case may be. But I bragged on this staff from the day it was assembled, from the day Dan Quinn was hired as head coach and he started filling out his staff. I talked about this all-star cast of coaches that was being assembled and put together. And I talked about how this group that was put together was going to be tasked with trying to extract as much success out of a group of players that, frankly, isn't all that talented. We're in the infant stages of this recalibration. The ground level, the foundation is being set with guys like Jaden Daniels and Frankie Louvu and Johnny Newton and Mike Sainristil, et cetera, right? You're hoping that these are the foundational pieces that you lay down in year one, that you either drafted or brought in via free agency, that are going to help turn this franchise around. Mainstay holdovers like Deron Payne and, you know, Terry McLaurin, et cetera, et cetera. But understand that this roster is deficient in many areas. And the only way you overcome that is to have extremely detailed and specific coaching. And I've been adamant that we have one of the best coaching staffs in the NFL. That's been my thing, right? But it was, I think, further shown that this group gets it on Sunday. We were sloppy, penalty-wise, in the first half. Jaden had an interception that was very hurtful because it took points off the board. And this wasn't our best half of football, clearly. Down 17-7. We haven't been down many first halves, right? And we haven't been down double digits at the halftime break many times this season. I mean, you think about all the games that we've been in this season. How many of those games do you recall us being down 2 scores at the halftime break? I can't think of very many, to be honest with you. I don't remember what the score was of the Tampa Bay game in week 1, but that's the only other game. I don't even think we were down 10 against the Ravens. I could be wrong about that, but that was probably like a 7-point game or a 4-point game or something like that. I know we missed a field goal right before half against the Ravens, but I think that was like 17-10 or something like that at half, maybe. This is the first time I can recall us being down double figures. I think the Eagles game last week, it was 21-14 at half, right? If I'm not mistaken, we had a chance to tie. Jaden threw the interception. They didn't get into field goal range, and they missed the 56-yarder before half, so it was 21-14. So I think that was the score last week against Philadelphia. I could be wrong about that. But at the end of the day, we were down 10. And we couldn't stop the run. And it felt like the Falcons were controlling this game at the line of scrimmage. And they go in and they make an adjustment. And I didn't realize this watching the game live. I didn't realize until I watched the game over again what the adjustment was defensively. And they talk about adjustments being overrated. The adjustment at halftime was we were getting out leveraged on the outside and we weren't setting a physical enough edge. I told you our edges are soft. That's why teams try to get to the outside against us and have a ton of success because our edges are soft. We don't set physical edges. We don't turn runs back inside where the help resides. We let guys out leverage us. We let guys push us around and they get to the edge, and that's where the big plays happen against our defense on the ground. That's where the Falcons specialize. They're an outside, inside zone team, but they love that outside zone. They love getting to your edge. They're more athletically gifted up front as an offensive line. They can reach some of those blocks that most offensive linemen can't. And they demand that guys block at receiver and tight end. They put an emphasis on it. And Joe Witt Jr. made a subtle change at halftime. He took Daron Payne and put him at defensive end. He took Jalen Holmes and put him at the other defensive end spot. And he took Johnny Newton and John Allen and put them at defensive tackle. And Daron Payne being moved to defensive end set a physical edge. It turned runs back inside. It gave them nowhere to go. Small change, but an adjustment made nonetheless that stopped the Falcons from doing the thing that they did so successfully in the first half. They went 3 and out. They got the football again. They ran 6 plays, had to punt because they could not establish a consistent run game in the second half. Think about all of the success they had in the second half. It was basically through the air. There was no way I could convince any of you that Bijan Robinson wasn't going to have 100 yards on the night with the first half he turned in. He finished with 90 some odd yards. People were like, I don't know why they stopped giving it to Bijan. They didn't have it. They didn't have the ball. And you got to credit the offense for that. Speaking of which, you're going to talk about adjustments being made. Do you realize there were numerous occasions on Sunday night where on the field, and I didn't realize this until I was with the Commander Kings the other night, and Ed said that Terry McLaurin went into the blue tent. We had no idea at home. They never mentioned it. So I said, well, if Terry wasn't on the field, who the hell was on the field? Do you realize there were moments in this game where Bryson Tremaine, KJ Osborne, and Luke McCaffrey were on the field at the same time? These are your receivers? Bryson Tremaine in one of the biggest games of the season? KJ Osborne? These are the receivers you've got out on the field? And you want to know why Jaden Daniels ran it 16 times? You want to know why we ran for over 200 yards in this game? It's because we didn't have a choice. We didn't have a choice. But that's great coaching. Understanding your limitations and what needs to be done. We handed Cliff Kingsbury some lemons on Sunday night. Hey, here's Bryson Tremaine, buddy. Here's KJ Osborne. Hasn't played a snap for us. Figure it out. Figure it out. Make something shake. So Olamide Zaccheaus has to have his best game of the season with his most target share. Zach Ertz has to turn in a memorable performance, one of his better games as a Commander. Hit some of his incentive bonuses and whatnot. Happy for him. And you got to block your ass off on the edges with guys like KJ Osborne and Bryson Tremaine. Cliff Kingsbury wasn't given enough credit for what he turned in on Sunday night. Yeah, Jaden was effing awesome. But we had Bryson Tremaine, KJ Osborne, and Luke McCaffrey, and guys like that on the field. And, you know, I hate to put Luke in that same category, but he hasn't done anything this year, really. And not all of it, his own doing, right? But still, the fact remains. Bryson Tremaine and KJ Osborne were on the field at the same time, multiple times on Sunday night. Let that sink in. And you scored 30 points. Once again, Jaden Daniels is different. Okay? Don't let anybody convince you that somehow Caleb Williams could have been doing this here if he were in Washington. No, he couldn't. Okay? He wouldn't, he couldn't, and I'm sure glad that he isn't. I'll just say that. Wow. What a job by this staff. Okay? That's all I can say is what a job by this coaching staff to make the adjustments, to get the most out of the personnel groupings that you have. We were down to one healthy offensive lineman. One. Remember that stretch where I figured it out watching the game. So when we called those 2 timeouts, and I'm like, what is going on? Well, they were trying to get the jumbo package out there, the personnel package where it's, 13 personnel grouping. And because we had so many injuries, guys that hadn't really done that all season, i.e. Chris Paul, had to come out on the field. He didn't know where to line up. There was confusion. That's why we had to burn 2 timeouts. Because the guys that usually are in that situation, it's usually Trent Scott coming in. Well, he was at right tackle. He had to play right tackle because you were already down Andrew Wiley. Then Cornelius Lucas gets injured. And so Trent Scott had to go in. And the guy that normally runs that third tight end when they go jumbo is Trent Scott. Well, he's already in the game. So you had to bring in, and Michael Dieter was in as well, right? So you got all this confusion. And now Chris Paul has to come out here. And he doesn't know where to line up. Because he's never done that this season. These were the challenges that this group faced, and we overcame them. And if not for a Sam Cosmi holding penalty, we probably win this thing comfortably. But as we know, things usually aren't comfortable for us as fans. We normally have to have heart palpitations in order to win a game. No complaints on my end. Just win the game. I can deal with all of that stuff later. I just want to shine a light on this staff for their ability to overcome all of the challenges that being in year 1 of a total rebuild and recalibration can bring. And then you start pouring injuries on top of already not being super talented, and you still somehow find a way to score 30 points. You find a way to make the necessary adjustments to slow down a team that was gashing and gutting you in the first half. That, my friends, is coaching. Oh, and it helps to have number 5. That helps a lot too. That masks a lot of deficiencies. But the ones that he couldn't mask on his own, the coaching staff did it for him. I'm not saying, I'm just saying. Damn, it feels good to be a Commanders fan. What's going on? It's your man Louie T here on behalf of Mando as we head into this great time of the year where you're starting to get to a point where you're ending one year and heading into the next. And you want to do so in a mindset of being fresh and clear, and you're cleaning the slate, right? And you want to take the baggage from last year, leave it there and move on and clean the slate and go into the new year with a fresh mentality. I say fresh because I'm talking in more than just one way. Leave the odor of the year before behind and go into the new year fresh and clean, and Mando can help you do exactly that. Mando is a whole body deodorant that's safe to use anywhere on your body. Pits, package, grundle, balls, feet, belly buttons, butt cracks, stomach folds, anywhere that funk and odor may lie, Mando can take care of it for you. Attacks odors aggressively, clinically proven to control odors for up to 72 hours. Available in 4 cologne quality scents: bourbon leather, Mount Fuji, Clover Woods, and my personal favorite, Pro Sport. So, if we're talking about doing it the right way as we head into the new year, fresh, right? Looking for a fresh start. You're talking about Mando. I got a deal for you too. As you look right above my head, I've got a link there for you. MandoPodcast.com/LouieT. You click that link, right? You put that link in. It'll take you straight to the Mando site. They'll know I sent you because you used my link. Or you could just go to the website, shopmando.com, ShopMando.com, and use the promo code LouieT. Either way, they'll know I sent you. And that's going to get you $5 off of a bundle. And that's got a lot of goodies inside of it, things that you can use, right? Soap and full body deodorant and a couple of gifts, wipes, whatever you're looking for, you can get it in that bundle. That's over 40% off of that bundle. So once again, use that promo code LouieT. If you head over to shopmando.com, or you can go to mandopodcast.com/LouieT to get you $5 off of that bundle. And you won't be sorry. And you also won't be funky in the new year. Tell them your man Louie T sent you. In other news, we have the playoff scenarios essentially in front of us now. We've got 1 week of football. We know what's at stake. So now I want to take a closer look at the playoff situation and kind of talk about what week 18 means, the significance of the games that'll be played this Sunday, and how things could shake out for the Commanders. We've talked about where they are right now, currently holding the 6th seed. They could be as high as 6. Can't get any higher than that, obviously, with 2 14-win teams in the conference battling it out for the right to call themselves the best of not just the conference, but the best in the NFL. They'll be tied for the best record, assuming one of those 2 teams, either Minnesota or Detroit, wins. They'll be tied with Kansas City for the best record in all of the National Football League. So let's talk about the playoff picture and what Sunday means potentially for the Washington Commanders. So this is what it looks like currently. All right. As you can see, Detroit is currently the 1 seed after winning on Monday Night Football versus the San Francisco 49ers. They will be playing the Minnesota Vikings, who are currently the 5th seed, as you can see, in the NFC playoffs if they were to start today. Somebody's going to lose that game, and that team will be the 5th seed. And the winner will be, number 1 overall seed, first round bye, playoffs go through them, et cetera, home field advantage, all of that good jazz. But as you can see, Tampa right now is in the 4th slot, and that could change, obviously, if Tampa wins. Now, the only thing that can't change is if Atlanta wins the division, they can't get to the 3 seed, right? Because they can't win 10 games. So right now, currently, as it stands, if Tampa wins and the Rams lose, there's a scenario where we could head to Tampa, as Tampa would then improve to the 3 seed, right? If we remain at 6, obviously, we'll get to our situation here in a second. But just talking about pieces that can move around us that could alter matchups, right? So Tampa right now is your 4 seed. If the Rams win on Sunday versus Seattle, Seattle has nothing to play for. They've been officially eliminated from postseason contention. With our win, we eliminated them from wild card considerations last week against Philadelphia. And then with all of the tiebreakers, the Rams won the strength of victory when we won on Sunday night. So we effectively 2 weeks in a row have eliminated Seattle from playoff contention. But now the Rams, if they are to remain the 3 seed, need to beat Seattle, or they can get a Tampa Bay loss. Either one would keep them as the 3rd seeded team in the conference. If they lose against Seattle in week 18, coupled with the Tampa Bay win, Tampa Bay would then move to the 3rd seed. The Rams would move to the 4th seed. And again, that could alter where we go and who we play in round 1. Now, speaking from our perspective, you see we're listed as the 6th seed right now. The Rams currently the 3rd seeded team in the conference. I just laid out to you what the Rams have to do to keep the 3 seed. Either way, they're going to be hosting a playoff game on the Rams. So I don't know if they care about 4 versus 3, whether they want to rest Matthew Stafford and some of their starters in this final game. They may not really care about whether they are the 3 or the 4 seed. We'll see how they handle the game on Sunday, but that's nor here nor there for us. We really don't care who the matchup is, 4 or 3, Tampa or the Rams. For us, what's important is, do you want to be the 6th seed or you want to be the 7th seed? The Eagles are locked into the 2 seed. They can't move. They can't get to 1. They're not going to drop to 3 or 4. They're locked in as the 2. So if you're 7, you're going to Philadelphia. We want to avoid going to Philadelphia in the first round at all costs. Not because we're afraid of Philadelphia. You're all about trying to give yourself the best chance to advance, to survive and advance in the postseason. Playing Philadelphia in the first round of the playoffs, not a good idea. Now, not that you can't beat them. And if we end up as the 7th seed, so be it. Let's make the trek to Philly for the 2nd time. And let's see if we can't find a way to get it done the last time. We had a chance. We were up in the 4th quarter. So be it. But if you can avoid Philadelphia in the first round, that's what you're looking to do. And so the Commanders, all they have to do is win. On the road, at Dallas, week 18. And again, Green Bay could lose in their regular season finale against the Bears. The Bears haven't won a game since we beat them back in week number 8. Okay? They've lost 10 straight games. They were 4-2. They're now 4-12. I told you guys last week, do not look for Carolina to do us a favor. Don't ask a 4-win team this late in the season to do you any favors. Don't do it. Okay? Told you guys last week, don't ask Carolina to do you any favors. Don't ask the Chicago Bears to do us a favor by beating the Green Bay Packers in week 18. You want the 6th seed, go beat the Dallas Cowboys. And frankly, I don't want to live in a world where we get swept by Cooper Rush and a downtrodden Dallas Cowboys team. I don't want to live in a world where that occurs. So find a way. I don't know what it looks like this week. Who's up, who's down. Don't care. Find a way to win, right? And remain the 6th seed. And whomever we play, whether it's Tampa, whether it's the Rams, again, I don't care. Do I have a preference? Sure. I have a preference. I'd rather play against the Rams. I'd rather play against Matthew Stafford. He's not running anywhere. He's going to stay in the pocket. Baker Mayfield's slippery. He's hard to contain. They've got dynamic running backs. Look, Kyron Williams is cool. He's not running away from anybody. But Bucky Irving is making guys miss, and he's creating a problem right now. Mike Evans is a problem. We know Mike Evans is a problem. I'll tell you that the Rams may have better personnel than the Buccaneers. But just from a matchup standpoint, the Rams, I think, are a better matchup for us because they're not dynamic anywhere other than the receiver position. So, which is a problem for us, obviously, but Tampa Bay can still pose a problem with Mike Evans and some of the other receivers that they can put on the field as well. So I get it. There's no Chris Godwin. He hurt us really bad the first time, but I'll take my chances with the Rams. Yep, they've got Super Bowl pedigree. Yep, Sean McVay, can put on a masterclass, et cetera, et cetera. I'll take my chances going out to L.A. and turning that thing into, Washington West. So it's simple. Win, and you're the 6th seed. Can't control and dictate who you play as far as who will end up the 3 seed. That's not our problem. You just don't want to have to play Philadelphia in round 1. And some of you may be like, I don't care. I want the Eagles. Cool. Awesome. I don't mind playing the Eagles in the playoffs if it were to play itself out somehow. But we can't play the Eagles until if it plays out this way, we can't play the Eagles until the championship game. Because the only way we would play Philadelphia is if they make it to the championship game and we make it to the championship game. Because the Lions get the lowest seeded team in the playoffs. That's who the Lions will play in the second round. And the only team lower seeded than us currently is Green Bay. So in order for us to play Philadelphia, we'd have to get to the championship game, as I mentioned, because Green Bay, if they beat Philadelphia, they go to Detroit. If Green Bay loses to Philadelphia and we beat the Rams, we go to Detroit. So there's no way to play Philadelphia in the divisional round, right? Only way we could play them is if we get to the NFC Championship game, and so do they. So I like that scenario. I like that opportunity. And I'll tell you this. Either way, Philly is going to have a tough matchup on their hands, whether it's us or Green Bay in the first round. Green Bay put a charge into them the first time, first game of the season. And I think Green Bay right now is a better team than they were in week 1. They're more confident. They know who they are more so now than they did then. And I think that would be an intriguing matchup, one that Philadelphia could lose. So I actually want to see that. I actually want to see Green Bay and Philadelphia. That's a good first round matchup. I don't know about you, but that's compelling stuff. So that's what it looks like right now. And, if we were to win, we asked for Ben Johnson before the season started. I remember very vividly saying, I want Ben Johnson. I want my lick back, right? Well, be careful what you ask for. You just might get it. You beat the Rams or you beat the Buccaneers in Wild Card Weekend, you have a date with the number 1 seeded Detroit Lions. Every time we've made noise in the postseason, the last, let's say 3 times we've been, anytime we've made noise, it's been against one of the teams that's on the bracket right now that we have a chance to face potentially in the postseason. You go all the way back to 91, we beat Detroit in the NFC Championship game. You go to 1999, the last time we almost made it to the championship game when we made it to the divisional round and lost to who? Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But we beat Detroit in 99 in Wild Card Weekend. Okay? If you go to 2005, we beat Tampa Bay before losing to Seattle, right? So a lot of these teams are intertwined with our playoffs over the years, Tampa Bay and Detroit in particular. The only team missing from this equation is Seattle. They're not in the field, as you can see. But a lot of history with Detroit in the playoffs, a lot of history with Tampa Bay here recently with us in the playoffs as well. So it's going to be interesting if any of this stuff kind of comes to fruition. But the last time we won the Super Bowl, we had to go through the Detroit Lions, or they had to try to go through us. We were the number 1 seed. Shoes on the other foot potentially, but got to get there first. But we can start having those conversations. We can start talking reckless. We're in the dance. We have a ticket. And when it starts, we'll be inside when they shut the door. Man, that feels good to say. Anyway, last thing for you guys on this New Year's Eve Tuesday. Happy New Year's to everyone. And, I'll have my conversation with you guys prior to New Year's, as I usually do. Come on, chop it up with y'all for about 10 minutes. Tell you how grateful I am for you guys, because I really, truly am. We'll do all of that good stuff. But happy New Year's Eve to all of you. And enjoy New Year's Eve safely. Bring it in the right way with those that you love and care for. And don't do anything crazy or reckless. All right. That said, we're going to turn up for the wild card weekend, right? We're playing a game, guys and gals. We're playing a game. Somewhere between the 11th of January and the 13th, there will be a Commanders postseason contest. Whether it's on Saturday or Sunday or Monday remains to be seen. Don't know. But here's what we do know. Whenever that game takes place, I will be having a watch party live and in color, and I want you to attend. That's right. Going to have a watch party in Richmond. Now, the location, we're still ironing out the kinks there. I think we got a location that we're going to pick, but that also may be dependent upon how many of you are deciding to show up. We're not selling tickets at the door, right? Got to get them ahead of time so we can know how many people that we need to have, accounted for showing up to this shindig. But we're going to have a lot of fun. And we're going to turn up for the squad because they done turned up for us this season. And we're going to support them in a major way on the road, whether it's at Tampa or it's at L.A. We're going to have a party, and we're going to represent and hold down the burgundy and gold here on the home turf. And it's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm hoping that you can attend and be in attendance when we celebrate the season, right? And hope that it continues. And if all goes well with this one, we'll do it again if we advance. And I expect to win a playoff game. I don't know about you. And I don't really care who the opponent is. At this point, I expect to win a playoff game. I expect to go to somebody's home turf and walk out victorious. And in Jaden Daniels' first career postseason trip, he gets it done. I just don't see any other way of this thing ending. And look, I'm going to tell you right now, we're dangerous. We're very, very dangerous. And if we get some of our pieces back, this thing could be very scary. The biggest of those pieces being Marshawn Lattimore. Like, he's a huge deal because now you get to the postseason, everybody's got good receivers. Now you're not playing against the Titans anymore. You're not playing against, teams where, hey, you can get away with having Benjamin St. Juste or, one of these other guys, Michael Davis, on the field. Everybody's good. I showed you the list of teams: Justin Jefferson and Amon-Ra St. Brown and, Mike Evans and A.J. Brown and Smitty. The cast of characters. Everybody's got good receivers in the playoffs. Everybody's got good receivers. Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, you can't get by with just putting out average dudes or below, in our case, below average dudes at the cornerback position. But whatever the case may be, we don't know when we're playing. We don't know what time we're playing, but we do know we're playing, and I want you guys to be a part of it. So we'll get all the particulars squared away. But the question is, are you coming or not? Are you going to be in the building when we out there screaming at the top of our lungs, having a blast, watching this team take care of business in Wild Card Weekend? You going to be in the game or you going to be on the sideline? You tell me. If you're a member of the mob, I'm opening up the floor to you first. When I come back, because I'm going to be out of the office, obviously, for the next couple of days. But when I get back, we're going to open this thing up to everyone. Right? We're going to open this thing up to everyone. But if you're a member of the mob, I put out a message, the link to the tickets so that you can purchase a ticket if you're interested in being in the building when we turn up for the team and have our playoff watch party in Richmond. And again, we don't know if it's going to be Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Doesn't matter. For some of you, it may. Obviously, work and all of that stuff. So we'll have a better and more clear picture of when the game will take place, what time, and if you can come out and be a part of it or not. But for those of you who know, look, I don't care when the game is, I'm going to be in the building, and you're a member of the mob, you already have access to that link. So take advantage, right? But for the rest of you who are waiting patiently, we're going to release that thing to the masses on Thursday. So you guys stay tuned for that. But in any event, that's going to do it for me, your man Louie T. So check your messages if you're a member of the mob, because I put a message out on the community wall for you to be able to purchase a ticket. You guys are getting the first crack at it. When we open it up to the masses, don't be upset if you trying to wait and see, and then all the tickets are gone. All right. We gave you a shot to get in there before everybody else gets a chance. So with that said, that's going to do it for me, your man Louie T. Happy New Year's to all of you. Again, you'll see my face once more before New Year's, but Happy New Year's to everyone, man. You know, I really appreciate y'all, and we'll do the mushy stuff down the road. But just know that I really do appreciate y'all. And this is awesome. For the first time in Commanders Nightly News history, this thing's going to extend to 19 weeks, to 20 weeks, and maybe even further. This is great. Bart Scott. Can't wait. We'll talk about Dallas later on in the week. Obviously, we need a win. And I couldn't think of a better way of putting an exclamation point on an excellent season, regular season that is, than smacking around the Dallas Cowboys. We owe them one. Some type of terrible, a fierce ass whooping. But we'll get to that. Let's just enjoy being in the playoffs. Let's bring in the new year the right way. I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.
Here comes the diesel. Here comes the diesel. There's the snap, hand to Riggins. Good hole. He's got the first down to the 40. He's